Hey, what is going on, everybody? So, this is going to be a video about how Tariq will essentially end up taking over the Tejada family. So, in essence, we already know that it's going to come down to Tariq versus Dru for power as to who's going to take control of the Tejada family. Now, of course, Tariq St. Patrick being the main protagonist of the show, either Tariq will take over the Tejada family or he will end up branching off and creating his own legacy, basically, or his own branch of what the Tejada family could have been if he was the head of it. So, how this is a very good indicator that Tariq may more than likely end up being the real uh, kingpin to the Tejada family is how close Monet is to Tariq, and how Tariq has essentially built up his trust and his value to Monet. Monique, excuse me, I said Monique. Tariq is first and foremost not even her son, and Tariq happens to be the one that Monet can trust most of all. Tariq has the highest success rate, even amongst her own kids, of getting the job done. What she asked, she trusts him the most based upon he hasn't betrayed her. Everything that he's done for the family in a short period of time, and most importantly, how much she relies on him to get the job done. When it comes to Tariq being so smart and he has the ability to pivot and change, this is very valuable to Monet. And considering the fact that Monet can't even rely even on her own children because they're off doing their own thing. And I will say it's self-inflicted based upon how, stern Monet is. She could learn to lighten up and not necessarily be so rigid with her approach, right? This is a telltale sign of, hold on a second. Sorry about that. This is a telltale story or a tale of what happens when you push power a little bit too far. When you push influence too far, when you try to stretch it, excuse me, longer than your hand can reach in a very excessive and a brutal way, Monet demonstrates what happens to the people who are under your influence or, you know, yeah, under your influence. They end up rebelling, they end up branching off. This is why it is that Tariq, right? Tariq examining soft power is actually the better way to go. As to where Monet, keep saying Monet is examining hard power. Hard power is just coercion. As to where Tariq's soft power is more so about the respect that people have for you, the love that they have for you over time, right? Because of the respect, because of the time that they've spent with you. They know your quarrels, your fears, if you have any. They know your hardship, and they can empathize with it. And they got to know you. But the thing about why it is that I say that Dru Tejada will have eventually end up getting pushed out in the first place is because Tariq's soft power. Tariq has too much soft power, and Dru doesn't have enough of it. Tariq is cool with Dru. Tariq is reliable to Monet. Tariq is a valuable asset to Diana, considering the fact that Diana likes Tariq. Now, eventually, Diana will branch off of her own, but Diana will always have a special place in her heart for Tariq. And as a result, Tariq can always use his likability to his advantage. To his advantage. And what will happen here is Dru, even though Dru is a family, Dru will eventually end up getting out manipulated by Tariq. Because if there's one thing that the Tejadas are prone to because of their parents, is hot headedness. Diana is very hot headed when it comes to people lying to her. Dru is very hot headed when it comes to the people that he cares about getting hurt or getting threat of being hurt. Fortunately. And then Cain is very hot headed in general. He doesn't have a whole lot of patience. He likes to muscle his way through a lot of things. So Tariq being very likable, except for Cain, and except for um, the Tejada, you know, um, you got to take into consideration that Tariq is very cold blooded. So Tariq will have the ability to through, maneuver um, through obstacles in a more relaxed fashion. So it'll eventually come down to Tariq versus Dru Tejada. And Dru Tejada is going to be very hot tempered. And even though Dru Tejada has a rage about him, Tariq is going to be able to get Dru to make a mistake. And this is where Tariq will end up taking advantage of that. So this is how Tariq and Dru Tejada will end up battling it out. And Tariq and Dru, or I should say, Tariq will end up winning the battle between who will be ended up ruling the family and or becoming more powerful than the other. Oh, there we go.